Cardi, we could hear the song from here, so that obviously meant a lot for the boys to do that and come from behind like that.
Yeah, it was for a lot of reasons, but I think the main two being that the two guys who made their debuts tonight, very, very popular members of the squad, and I think the extra noise in the song was had a lot to do with those two guys.
Pretty gutsy to come back from 14 down.
Yeah, it was. I didn't think we were playing that bad in the first half. It was a funny game. We sort of gave them. It was just a missed tackle and a bit of a misread, and they scored 2 tries and got the penalty goal. So they racked up 16 points. But I didn't think we were doing too much wrong. I think they were 14 out of 14 up until the last minute of the first half. So whatever we got out of the first half, they made us work really hard.
With all the injuries you've had, did you feel you very due that lucky bounce that last try there?
Oh, I think so. It's been a long time since we've won a game in that vein. So if you keep you don't give up. You remain composed and you keep believing. You tend to get results like that.
The patched up side like that though, John, with injuries, and you've also got people playing out of position. I suppose on paper you probably shouldn't have won that game, but you did.
Yeah, it was a real worry. I suppose you train as a side, especially early in the season. You mix up your roles with your players, and they've all had a lot of time on the training field. But it's totally different when you get out under pressure. So like Bo Henry's having his first game for a long time. Harrow playing a hooker. Sam Irwin, making his debut. It was to be able to go out there and perform under pressure. That's a tough thing to do.
Nate, what turned it around at them, mate? They obviously got out to that pretty good lead. What was the switch that turned you guys around?
Holding the ball helped us a bit. Completing our sets, just sort of going through the middle. They had some big boys and getting some quick play the balls on us, so it was hurting us.
Cardi saying they look out of place.
No, he's really, really, really happy for him. He's a lovely young fella, and I wasn't worried about putting him in. When the opportunity arose, he'd have probably been told he's too small all his life, but it doesn't bother him. He's as courageous as a player as you'll ever see. So, and I think he grew a leg tonight. He went out there. Anyone who knows him will know it's very hard to get 2 words out of him, more than 2 words out of him. And when he went out there, I sat down the sideline the second half. I could hear him barking all night. So he really enjoyed it, and he grew as the game went on.
Sure. Impression of that last try, John. Watching it from it was rattled out a little almost. Do you think?
Yeah, I thought it was a poor kick actually. When it was probably the wrong type of kick for where we were. But that's footy. We've got 2 lucky bounces. I was probably thinking more to get him down in the corner and try and make them work off their line, but he went for the midfield bomb. But that's how he plays.
He made the most of his opportunity.
Yeah, he did. He was really strong. Game suited him. We sort of were able to build a bit of pressure, and he's a very strong runner. He's a handful on the edge of the ruck. When you put sides, you get some repeat sets, and he's hard to handle.
Does Dave walk back into this team fortnight?
Oh, look, that's a hard question. I'm glad we've got a fortnight to think about it. The game's a lot more about what you see on the field for the 80 minutes. It's what you bring to the team every day and every minute. So that's something I think as a group we'll have to talk about.
Which players will be available for that game in 2 weeks' time in terms of injury? Who could be back?
Oh, a bit hard at the moment. I think Davey Mead looks like he's got a jaw problem. Doesn't look good. So outside him, I think most of the guys will be touch and go for the Newcastle, but being hamstrings with Brad and Aiden, they'll have to be 100% before we bring him back.
It's made his jaw something like last year. I think he broke his jaw last year.
Yeah, the first they seem to think it's a broken jaw, so we'll have to assess him. He'll get a shoot off and get an X-ray, I'd imagine.
When did he do that?
It wasn't at the end. He played a chunk of the game in the second half with it, apparently. Yeah, it was a pretty brave effort because he knew what he'd done. He didn't hang around for the celebrations after the game. When the game was over, he ran straight to the medical room.
So unlike Albert Kelly, he won't be playing next game.
Yeah, it didn't look good. I'm not a doctor, but yeah, it didn't look real good.
And did you hear before you ran out that you made the Australian team, and the other players have made, or were you told afterwards?
I think a few people tried to say something to me before the game, but I just sort of didn't want to think about it, to be honest.
I think four players, it's two in country team and two. That's quite a good representation. You're co-captain of the team. You're obviously proud of it.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of our players are, going pretty good at the moment. So it's, it's good. It's good for them to get a bit of reward.
John, when the teams were used to be picked on a Monday, the coaches on Monday night had different policies about telling their players whether they were in or not. It was seen as maybe a disadvantage if players are running out knowing they've got a big game the following week. Did you have a policy towards it?
Not really. Well, I knew the two boys that were in the test team, so you worry a little bit less with experienced guys, but it's a really tough. It's a tough thing to do to both sides. With guys in both sides in contention for playing rep footy. You want them. It's a hard enough game. Just to focus on your job at hand, let alone worried. Am I in? Am I out? So, and then the side's been picked, so they don't want to look, but it's tough. So yeah, it was let it sort of slide because the guys that I knew were playing in the test team were pretty experienced.
The other two, do they know?
They did know. I sort of probably look surprised, but I'm pretty sure they knew.
So on that, good reward for Ryan.
Ryan and Jamal, the pair of them have worked really, really hard through the off season. They've both totally changed their, I suppose, their lifestyles and their body shapes show that, and they're playing big minutes and both been really effective for us.
Now, what can you say about Dave Mead playing plenty of minutes with a broken jaw knee? Not many guys can do that sort of thing.
No, for sure. It's a big thing to be able to play, in pain with an injury like that. So, I didn't even know until we sat down, mate, that he was a bit injured, which is, I've never played with a broken jaw, so I don't want to comment on it, but it's pretty awesome by him to stick in there, because it definitely helped us having him on the field.
Do you reckon it was a whole second half?
No, I think he said about 10 minutes ago.
10 minutes ago.
Can you tell, does it look bad or something?
Yeah, it looked bad when he ran off. Yeah, it didn't look normal.
Did he finish the game?
Yeah, he did.